As an Australian, I've never been more disgusted in my own country than the bushfire season of 2019 to 2020. Our Prime Minister went on holiday while our country was on fire. The government and the RFS chief treated our volunteer firefighters like garbage under the pretext of the spirit of volunteering, despite them going out fighting fires like this for weeks at a time. And most of the population was led to believe a conspiracy theory about the origins of the fires instead of the facts. That's the topic of this video: misinformation, the art of lies. Chapter 1. The Greens caused the bushfires. A popular opinion about the origins of the bushfires was that the political party known as the Greens passed legislation that did not allow local governments to perform preventative burns. Well, is this opinion correct? And how did it gain popularity? No. The fact I'm bringing this opinion up in my video should have shown that it wasn't correct. Government doesn't work like that. FYI, I'm no expert in Australian politics. There's a good chance I misunderstood how something within government works. If I make a mistake, please correct me in the comments. Bills need to go through 2 levels of government, getting edited and changed at every step. You can't just snap your fingers and make a bill legislation. Policy is a bit different, and it describes the priorities of the government. While it may be true that the Greens did not put enough priority on preemptive burns, I haven't seen any evidence for this, but it's a hypothetical, that doesn't matter. They aren't currently in political power, and weren't during the time of the bushfires. And that's assuming the bill or policy even existed in the first place. The only evidence for this bill or policy existing in the first place is the word of the former leader of the National Party, Barnaby Joyce.
Well, this is something I think is really important, Kieran. I don't have a problem with people who vote Greens, and I certainly don't want to go sort of argumentum ad hominem against Green voters, because it's nothing to do with that. What it is certain, let's call them conservation policies or green policies, that I think have exacerbated this fire. And I'll name 3. One is the lack of controlled burns, fire reduction burns, because as you know, if you keep on piling vegetation, dry vegetation on top of dry vegetation, which was never burnt as the Aboriginals did when they were here. They were very aware of the dangers this caused. Then when a fire does come, and they always do come, they are horrific. They are like a holocaust, and that policy needs to be changed so we can get those controlled burns. Now, speaking to people from the Environment Department, and they say, well, they won't go on the record, but they say it's just so bureaucratic. It's bureaucratic for the purpose of not letting you do it. And of course,
that's a sad title. Hi, I'm the former leader of the second party in Australia. No matter what you think of the Greens, this sentiment that they are responsible for the fires is completely false, no matter how you look at it. Don't feel bad if you ever held these views. As we'll discuss later, you probably didn't hear anything else. Chapter 2. News Corps. Why does misinformation spread faster than the bushfires it's about? Because people are stupid and take what a politician says at face value. Good night. Alright, I suppose I should be a little nice, considering these people are the majority of the nation right now. The majority of the news in this country comes from one man, Rupert Murdoch, and his pet corporation. News Corp was founded sometime during the Cretaceous period when Rupert took an extra long and thought to himself, I could sell this. And now over 50% of our media is run by this man and his pet corporation. Some may call this an inaccurate representation of News Corp's history, and to those people I say, I'm just immersing myself in News Corp journalism. Simply put, with the large volume of media this man has, what News Corp say and publish makes waves, even when what News Corp is publishing is the confused rambles of the former leader of One Nation Light. But why is over half our media run by this, what I hesitate to call a man? Simply put, News Corp is allowed to control so much of our media and information under law. Ultimately, Rupert played the long game, and now generations of people think that over 50% of our media in the hands of one man and his pet corporation is a good idea. Chapter 3. The Internet of Idiots. Alright, so what? Grandpa is getting indoctrinated, but I don't watch the news or read the paper, so how does this misinformation affect me? I mean, even that Sky News video clip had 5,000 views. Well, Grandpa probably has Facebook by now and is sharing this with his friends. They share what they hear from Grandpa with their friends, and so on and so on and so on. While the internet is an amazing tool to expand your mind, fact check and back up claims, most people don't do this. Instead, they find little spaces where they only interact with ideas they agree with, and where all opposing arguments have been scrubbed clean of content. In these little corners of the internet, ideas like the Greens cause the fires spread unchallenged, and before you know it, you have the whole town rattling out these lies. Not to mention the fact these lies can spread organically without the approval of News Corps. To summarise, while the internet gives us access to so much information, it's still within the reach of idiots who take what a politician says at its word. Chapter 4. The reason I made this video, / when I was misinformed. At the time of making this video, COVID-19 has the world on lockdown, and believe it or not, yours truly was misinformed about the virus and didn't put any research into it. The fact I was misinformed like this was the spark that made me want to make this video. I genuinely thought the virus was just as bad as the flu, and that everyone was overreacting, as well as similar ignorant views. Views that could potentially put others in danger, and quite frankly, I am disgusted by my past views and actions, hence why this video exists, as both a digital slap in the face to my past self, and as something for the audience to learn from. But how did these views develop? Well, this is where I get to throw someone else under the bus. My TAFE teacher, who I know is watching, Mr. Sir, that'll do, was a nurse and held very serious positions within Australian healthcare before he became a TAFE teacher. So while he wasn't the first person I heard share these views, he was the most qualified. I just assumed he'd done the thinking for me, when that simply wasn't the case. While he was very qualified, he's still a TAFE teacher and had my stupid ass to worry about. He didn't research and it wasn't his job to. Mr. Sir has since changed his views based on the evidence. It just goes to show that one person you respect sharing misinformation is more impactful than 1,000 cranky grandpas. In times like this, I'm not proud of my country. I'm not proud of the amount of misinformation that's allowed to spread, and I'm not proud of our leaders who have been running our country recklessly and irresponsibly for years. But I do care about the people who live in it. I can safely say Australia is home to some of the best people on earth. I hope this video makes up for my spread of misinformation, and I hope it stands as an unbroken promise that I will do better, not just by my fellow Australians, not just by my audience, but by my fellow men as well. Thank you for watching.